how would I know if I need enzymes? Like, what kind of things should they be paying attention to?
Remember the number one thing, it's the F word. Fatigue is the number one thing. Other ways which you know is you eat and you feel bloated. Those are the ways which you know. You wake up with chronic headaches every day. You have migraines. You can't focus, brain fog. Or if you're dealing with a major type of autoimmune issue, if you're dealing with a chronic debilitating type of pain or injury that won't go away, that's another great way you know you need enzymes.
Welcome back to Nectar of Health. I'm Dr. Boris Niktalov, where we talk about how to get healthy and stay healthy. I have a very special guest today, a good friend of mine who I travel with all the time to different seminars to trying to bring the best, the latest information and technology to help our patients heal better and experience life in more vibrant style. I'd like to introduce Dr. Matt Singer today. Dr. Matt Singer, if you please tell us about yourself, how you got into chiropractic and how you got the enzyme nutrition. How's that working together with chiropractic? How are you able to help your patients?
Well, Boris, thank you for having me on. It's such an honor to do this with you. So I got into chiropractic in my early 20s. I experienced my grandmother go through a lot of ailments, which led to multiple rounds of chemotherapy, radiation treatments, which didn't work, which ultimately took her life. And when I was at that young age, I said to myself, that's all they offered her. There was nothing else they offered her. And I said, there's got to be a better way. There had to have been a better way, something else that could have saved her life. And then that's what brought me on the journey, which led me into chiropractic, which then led me into a journey of holistic medicine, which then led me into the journey of enzyme therapy. And obviously I was blessed to meet you. So that kind of, in a very quick nutshell, was how I got my introduction to all this amazing avenue of healing.
Awesome, awesome. So for those people that don't understand what enzymes are, can you please explain what are they?
Every cell in the body has a powerhouse which makes enzymes. So essentially every organ, every gland, every system in the body is basically run by enzymes. And enzymes are helping the body to either break things down or to reconstruct and make them stronger. So they're basically helping the body to execute different types of jobs that otherwise couldn't be done without an enzyme.
Absolutely. I like to explain in a very simple terms. Enzymes are the workers in our body. And I like the analogy that Dr. Loomis, the enzymes that we utilize, says, imagine a house that's on fire, right? And who comes to the rescue? The firemen, right? So what do they use to stop the fire? The water, or sometimes even chemicals. Now the house is burned, yes, but it's still standing, has a potential to rebuild, right? So what do we need to rebuild? We need material. Who's going to put it together? The workers. So the enzymes are the workers in our body, right? So people take nutrition or eating organic or taking all kinds of supplements. But if your organ, your stomach, your engine doesn't know what to do with it, or how to put it together, how to absorb it, how to deliver nutrients, what's the point?
Correct. It's a great analogy, absolutely.
So are you yourself using the enzymes and has it been helping you yourself and your family?
Yep, me personally, I've been taking enzymes, and for example, I'll take enzymes for everything from improving my eyesight to strengthening muscles, for skin health. I'll do it for digestive health. I'll do it for brain function. I use enzymes for every single patient that had COVID. There was formulas that we used that you and I know of where within a matter of a day and a half, all the symptoms were gone. We used enzymes all the way through where not one person spiked a fever, not one person was put in the hospital. I've used enzymes for people who have major diseases and helps them start to reverse nicely. There's so many uses for enzymes, and it's made a huge play in my practice.
Dr. Matt, quick question. So we have organs that make them, right? Especially it starts in the mouth. So why do we have to take enzymes today?
Now that the house has been burned, it doesn't have the raw materials it needs to basically rebuild itself. So the enzymes that we're going to take are going to give the body that raw material that's needed so we can rebuild the house.
And how are you using today in your practice? Like, what kind of things have you been seeing in your practice?
So obviously, the world of healthcare that we know it has changed, especially from the pandemic, from the COVID vaccine, from the horrible foods out there. And I'm seeing a lot of people with serious inability to maintain health. I'll see a lot of people with depression, anxiety, and I'll use enzymes, which do amazing work for that. I use enzymes for people who are having issues with cognitive problems such as vertigo, dizziness, congestion, or dealing with ADHD, children with autism, adults that have sports injuries, everything and anything that you can ever think of, the enzyme, because it's the builder, is going to help the body repair.
100%, I agree with you. In your practice, my understanding that you have a waiting list practice, right?
Yes.
So if I was to call you today, how long do I have to wait to actually see you?
Well, because the fact that you're my good friend, I'd probably get you in about a month, but typically it'd be about 6 months.
Okay.
So, but that's not to boast. That's just to show the power of, the technology we learned from Dr. Loomis is when you're applying the right formula to the body and the body's able to utilize it, now the body says, good, I can heal. And there's so many people who are not used to that. They're used to going somewhere, getting a medicine to treat a symptom, not fix the problem, but treat a symptom. So basically using more gas and lighting another fire, not rebuilding the house. So then all of a sudden they come to people like us and they go, wow, this is amazing. You actually gave me an answer. I actually have hope now.
So for those people that are watching, right? So they're sitting and saying, how would I know if I need enzymes? Like, what kind of things should they be paying attention to?
Remember the number one thing, it's the F word. Fatigue is the number one thing. The way you would know you need enzymes is you're just exhausted. You say to yourself, I can sleep 12 hours, I get up and I'm still tired. The other ways which you know is you eat and you feel bloated. Those are the ways which you know. You wake up with chronic headaches every day. You have migraines. You can't focus, brain fog. Those are the types of things that you would know that would help with enzyme therapy. Or if you're dealing with a major type of autoimmune issue, if you're dealing with a chronic debilitating type of pain or injury that won't go away, that's another great way you know you need enzymes.
So, there's a lot of people take medications for any type of gut issues, for example, PPI, proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux. What would you say do you have patients that actually coming in for that and saying, listen, I still have that acid reflux? What do you do in that situation?
So that's where the education comes in, because you and I both know that the PPIs are probably the worst medication ever invented. Most of the enzymes that are actually activated need a certain amount of hydrochloric acid, need a low acidity to actually turn on. So the PPIs are actually shutting off most of the enzymatic potential in an effort to try and mask the symptom. So the PPIs, unfortunately, when I'm dealing with patients with that, we have to get them off it. That's the first thing. It's kind of like we got to put the fire out. We unfortunately have to get them off it. And every patient, I'm sure, Boris, you experience this also, they go, if I come off of it, I'm going to feel horrible. I know, but it's going to be a temporary thing. And then we have to start adding in the building materials, because if you're on the PPIs, your body will not allow you to absorb the enzymes properly. We have to get you off that medication. So it's like we have to fix what was broken in the first place.
100%. The more medications people take, the more nutrients it requires to reverse that type of damage that it's doing to the body. So, what's your niche in your practice?
So with my niche being specializing in holistic medicine, I'm going to deal with people who have had chronic issues where they've gotten no results. Most of them come in saying, it's been 2.5 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and I've been dealing with cancers to autoimmune, to fatigue, to infertility, to digestive issues, anxiety, depression, mood swings, and they've been dealing with it their last decade, and they're hopeless. So that's the types of things which I see. I see a lot of issues with MS, lupus, a lot of issues, like I said, with, especially nowadays, with cancers, tumors, cysts, ovarian cysts, PCOS.
It's ultimately, you give the body what it needs so it can heal itself. We don't necessarily treat disease, but what we do is support the body, whatever it needs, in order to be able to heal on its own.
Absolutely. And first and foremost, we have to ask the body to tell us how it happened. So the body will have a timeline to it. It'll tell us the story. It could have been 10 years ago they were exposed to something, or they were eating something, or it's always starts in the very beginning. It never starts at the end point where they're having the symptom. We have to have the body take us back a decade before the symptoms even started. And then we could start using the right tools of enzymes to help the body heal.
If somebody is suffering from chronic, chronic fatigue, like you mentioned, or pain even, what would you tell them? Like, what steps, actions should they take? For example, I don't know where's the enzyme specialist around me. All I know is a medical doctor, GI doctor, who's keep giving me these medications.
I would say do a search for someone who's a holistic practitioner, a holistic doctor, someone like us. If you happen to know what enzymes are, you just Google enzyme therapy in my area, enzyme practitioner in my area, or they can go to the Loomis website, and that has a list of practitioners. Because it's not going to be as publicly known, so you kind of have to do some digging, but that's where I would start.
Okay, okay. And do you have one miracle story that you had in your practice that made you shiver even or even
Yeah.
cry?
Yeah. So last December, we had a patient come in. He had stage 4 colon cancer. And he basically came to us. He said his doctors wrote him off, said, go home and get your affairs in order. And we started working with him, found everything the body was telling us, started using enzymes. And, I do some other stuff in my office as well, but the enzymes were really helping his body to bring in the nutrients it needed. And 4 weeks later, he went and got a scan, and the report said no sign of
Wow,
cancer,
wow, wow.
metastasis, or anything.
I just want to make sure that our listeners understand that we do not treat cancer or any type
Nope,
of conditions, right? That's not what we
nope,
do. We
exactly.
find out what body is deficient in or
Yeah.
wants or needs as far as nutrients wise, deliver that to the body so the body can heal.
Yes. And the main reason why we don't treat like a cancer or a disease is because when you treat it, you're not healing it. You're just treating the symptom. You're basically saying, what can I do to get this to go away? Well, you can get it to go away, but you basically shoved it back into the body. Now it's going to come back out somewhere else.
Got it. So, Dr. Matt, thank you very much. If somebody wants to find you, how can they?
Real easy. You can go to my website, drmattsinger.com. 973-628-1870.
And you're located where? In New Jersey? Where is
Yeah,
that?
in Wayne, New Jersey.
Wayne,
And
New Jersey.
we have patients all over the world, so we do a lot of Zoom with patients also.
Consultations. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Very much. It was very nice seeing you here on a podcast. Hopefully, we're going to be speaking more and helping a lot of patients.
Boris, thank you so much.
Okay, awesome.